is on YouTube. It's being live streamed. It's going to live there forever. We do have a hybrid meeting policy. It can be found on our website. Board members are expected to have their cameras on and attend the meetings in person, but if it's virtual, they have to have their cameras on. And the only way they're virtual is if they have a disability or an extraordinary circumstance. Let's see, what else should I mention to you? Also, if this is your first time and you're not on the listserv, you should join the listserv so you can know what's happening in the community and what's coming up for the meetings. I think real quick, we can just go around the room. We'll chair Marie Ortiz.
George, co-chair.
Katie Stokes.
Rachel Lee, member.
Lisa David, member.
Sloan, member.
Pete Diaz, member.
Evan Collins, member.
Matthew Klein, member.
William Brownback, member. Katie Savage, member.
And are there any members online?
Travis,
Yes, Hector Vasquez. All right, go ahead. You first, man. How you been? Good.
Travis Rogers, public member.
Hector Vasquez, member.
Joe, do you want to?
Yeah, Nellie, could you put it in gallery view so we can see everybody at the same time? Nellie?
Yes, it's in gallery view.
No, it's showing full screen. There we go. Thank you. Thank you, Katie. Appreciate it.
Stand here.
Yeah.
So.
So do we want to keep the agenda?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do we have in here?
Yes. Do you want them to move up or sit at the
Yeah,
table?
please, yes, please.
Yes, you want me?
So we have three items on our agenda tonight, 515 West 43rd Street. The Universal Affordability Application. This is a successor program to inclusionary housing. 420 West 45th Street. That is the middle income housing, an application for Article 11 real estate tax exemption. We last saw them in December. And then a presentation by Brad Coleman, 432 West 58th Street for Mount Sinai. And then we'll discuss our updates and reports from various meetings that happened during the month.
Okay, so I request Nelly to please share our presentation for everybody. Thank you, everybody. I'm Manish Shara. I'm the principal at Technology Architects. We are the architects for this project. We are a New York City firm. We've been in business since 1996, so 30 years in operation, and we built some, very visible buildings in New York City. We are proud of our work here, and we'd love to present this to you.
Can I just pause for 1 second? Travis, can you hear everything online okay?
It's a bit muffled.
Try to be louder. Okay. Is this better?
And the microphone is right there.
In the center.
All right, so our project site is 515 West 43rd Street. It's mid-block between 10th and 11th Avenues. We have a condominium building next to the east and high school to the west. We are a 17-story residential building primarily, does not have any other uses. It's a residential district. So I'm gonna, we are zoning district R-line in the Clinton district and the C2 West sub area. The zoning lot is 10,042 square feet. The base FAR permitted on the site is 6.66, and with the UAP program, we can do a maximum of 8. So Nelly, can you switch to the next page, please? So this is all of the zoning stuff. I have noted some of the salient features, the lot area, FAR, etc. So as we go through the presentation, I'll I'll hit on the important elements of the project.
If you can stay there one moment so people understand, this is the first time we're dealing with the UAP presentation as opposed to inclusionary housing. And it works slightly differently. So the total square footage is roughly 71,700.
That's the zoning, yeah, that's right.
The zoning floor area. Right.
Yeah.
The lot area, 10,000 square feet. You multiply that times the base FAR,
That's right.
and that gives you the base stuff, the
Yeah.
base, and then you have.
If you want to go above that, then you only do that by providing UAP.
Right.
And so in this building, we have, we are the difference between 71,000 and change and 66,000 and change, so roughly the 48 square feet.
Or 4873.
4873 is required, and what we are providing is 4990. That is primarily achieved through the provision of 6 UAP units. The project also is providing 485X units. So the total number of affordable units in the building is 18. We have a total of 90 units.
So let me just
And out of
put that
which-
in translation purposes, right? So if this was a 421A building in an inclusionary zone, right? Someone's like do the reference.
Yeah,
The 6 units are the inclusionary units. Those are permanently affordable, right? And the rest, the 45X, are for the tax exemption. Right, so we have a combination of both permanently affordable and affordable for a 30-year period. That's a good point. Questions, just because I don't want to get too far ahead, because we haven't looked at one of these before. It's like a learning session for us too.
Right.
We're gonna see one next month again, so this is our opportunity to really understand.
Is this a smaller percent than the older option?
It's
Like permanent?
it's actually more.
more,
It's more,
Yeah.
okay.
but it's
I mean,
very
the-
specific.
The previous program, the inclusion housing program, worked differently. And there were a couple of different, there was on-site, which had a different provision, off-site had a different provision. So now this is all on-site, and essentially all of the bonus FAR in a way is affordable. Yeah. Which was not the case. Previously it was.
The ratios are different.
Yeah.
Joe, I just have a question. So when you do we always talk a lot about 25% affordable. So 4,900 out of 71,000 does not seem to be.
25% of the number of units. And that is above,
What
that's
was it
part
when
of
we were
the,
talking?
that's
So
part of the
what-
421
Okay.
program, the 25%.
What, the square footage?
No, that's number of units.
Number of units?
Yeah, the 25% is number of units, but in this case, because we are less than 100, it's 20%.
Okay,
So that's 18 out of the 90.
Right.
It's two different things.
Yeah, we got it. This is what, by the way, we talked to the developer to brief, this is what we anticipated questions like this, right?
Right.
So let's take it slow at the beginning and then we'll
Yeah,
understand.
I'm happy to.
And you'll bring us back again further, right?
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
Joe,
Yes,
what was the thing where it was very clear that it was a percentage of floor area? Was that the Hudson Hotel cure for harassment? Or is
yes.
that- Okay,
Pure harassment is 28% of the floor area of a building to be altered or built. That's
okay.
entirely separate, right?
And when it comes to the affordability, it's based on the number of units, not on,
There are
The square
two
footage.
factors. There's square footage. And then you divide the square footage that is created through this new program UAP into units, right? Now, this building has some larger units, so there's less number of units here, but the square footage is consistent with the city of yes changes that created UAP.
Right.
Right? Question.
I think I'm having a really bad math night.
So did I, so keep going.
So 6 units out of 90
Is-
is definitely not 20%.
That is right. There are 485X units, so 6 plus, so the
so
UAP
the
units.
18.
18 is the total number of affordable units.
Out of 90.
No, I get that, but I thought that before, that's just maybe a bad memory night, I thought before we were dealing with permanently affordable.
Correct.
It just sort of seems like a bummer. I can't think of a more articulate way of saying it. Than saying, here we are, we're gonna have 90 units, I'm sure they'll be gorgeous. And at the end of the day, we only have 6 for permanently affordable units.
So can I
Yes.
it's similar to your question, but I
Uh-huh.
was gonna ask this earlier, I don't, if you could just explain a little bit, it might be something what you guys were talking about yesterday. How come 6 are affordable and
No.
permanently? And 18 are,
So there are
the
two,
12,
Two separate programs that are working together.
there are two programs. UAP lets the developer build more than the base FAR. So base FAR is 6.66. You can go up to a maximum of 8.
okay,
So the difference is 1.34. And I believe 1.34 is 20% of 6.66. Some places it's exact, some places it's not. So let me give you another. R10 is 10 FAR, and you can do 2 FAR of UAP. It's exact 20%. Right?
So the percent, right.
so my question was actually about the other part.
Right, I'm
The-
getting there.
yeah,
So the other part is the 485X program, which is the tax abatement program.
The replacement for 421A.
421A, yes. So 421A, and then it became Affordable New York, and then 485X is the current program. That current program has thresholds of 99 units, you provide 20% of
Above
the
99.
units. Above 99, it goes to 25%, and then above, I think it goes to 30, but we haven't had an opportunity to do that. So that's why you see 18 units, which is 20% of 19, or 485X units, out of which 6 are the UAP units. The UAP units, which go towards providing the 4,800
Square feet.
4,873 square feet of affordable area.
And
The project is generating more than that.
be
That's the
aware that
requirement.
the UAP units also qualify toward the 485X.
Right.
Yeah, that's,
Right, so what happens here is, just like in 421A, right? Yeah, okay, so I can bring it back. So we had this huge fight in 2005, right? And it was called double dipping.
I was
Outputs,
gonna say, how is this not double dipping? Okay.
it is, and we lost, right? The idea being that you were gonna get a unit for your bonus square footage and use that same unit for your tax exemption. This was a policy decision made by Mayor Bloomberg at that point in time, right? And it's continued all the way through since. So we have seen many buildings that come to this committee, like let's take the 606 West 30th Street building, and then block 675, that whole rezoning, right? All the units there that we got were for inclusionary housing, but they were also used to meet the requirements for the then 421A. So that has been
I
established.
think it was 25% units there, if I'm not mistaken.
It was 25% because there's a additional bump. But the point of it is that in total, right? Always these two programs have been working hand in hand. The little twist here is there's a lesser requirement for buildings under 99 units. And if you follow this throughout the city, throughout the city, many developers are building multiple buildings with 99 units. And why is that? Because above 99, it's a union requirement for labor. $40 an hour. $40 an hour. And the projects are having problems penciling out here. So the phrase I use all the time in this committee is that, real estate developers, it's like they find water through rock. They know how to do this. So some places in Brooklyn, there are 3 99 unit buildings being built in the same block, as opposed to 1, in order to deal with this issue of the union wages, right? So that's why this one is not that reason. This was, let me just back up for a second. This developer actually in the briefing is trying to acquire the same parcel on West 44th Street. They don't have the entire parcel. So they decided build a phase 1 and then come back to us and build a phase two, because they don't have full site control.
So
This is a through block
the
site.
the maximum FAR on the site, the way the lot that we have, Nelly, if you can go to the next.
It'll help you. We struggle with this.
Brian, you wanna?
The building you showed doesn't go all the way across. the
Does
line.
not go all the way.
It does
Yes.
part.
So
There we go.
that's the lot.
I have
Yeah,
a question.
No, go
Go back
go back to the lot, got to talk about that first.
Oh,
Can I ask a question
That
on,
right
on
there.
the,
There we go. You just,
Sure,
Yeah.
yeah.
can I ask a question?
yes, of course.
Okay, so there's one piece that's missing for me. Help me think through this. So 4,873 square feet of affordable housing. You're gonna do 4,990, right? But the net of this is 3,986. Like, what's the
The
net?
units, I think the number that you're referring to is probably the sum of the 6 units.
Okay,
And then an equivalent percentage of the common area of the building, so the
Located.
or stairs,
Net.
corridors, adds up to, with the net to come to the total affordable generated floor area.
I'm gonna go to Kevin 1 second, though. Look at this lot though for a second. This is 43rd on the left. That's the portion they own, and they own another piece of the lot on West 44th. They're hoping to purchase the other two. They decided not to wait to have the whole site assembled, but to
Yeah.
build it in phases.
So Joe, just so we can.
Yep.
Learn, we might see more of this, there's a good article, I could forward it to members of the committee, to the city today.
Please.
And other places as well. That, the difference between 99 and under and 100 and over. And just 1% of the proposed developments that have registered to use the tax rate code have 100 units or more. So is this something where we're gonna see proliferation of 99 or less?
The answer is, except in our district, okay? The Wicklet North, both pieces are well over 100
That's good.
and using 45X.
Because besides the cost factor of it, there's less mandate for affordable housing, it's more land.
That's right.
What about it? And could you have built higher, than what you're currently?
Taller?
Yes,
No, there's limits on
Not-
height.
no, Not here.
so there couldn't have been more, units?
No, this could have
They
been
were smaller.
Yeah, if they were smaller.
if they were smaller units. This developer came in with a mixture of units and answers to a lot of our normal questions. They did a lot of due diligence on this. But look at this site for a second, that's important. So remember, this was rezoned back in 2009 as part of the 11th Avenue, part of the Clinton West rezoning. And we rezoned it for residential use for manufacturing. And this entire block has been redeveloped over the past, like 15 years, 20 years. It's amazing. Much can happen, right? This is one of the last sites to be done. It's really the last site to be done. And this was a garage originally, right?
Yes, it is, or.
Yeah.
One of, yeah.
A car rental garage. And then there are 3 taxi garages on West 44th. So we're seeing, what I want to know for the committee, we're seeing the fruition of the community's efforts to bring in rezoning. And in this case, it was bringing in R9, slightly higher density. And we have gotten development to development. Every single one has included affordable housing. So.
Well, that is great and all. It is still
Not great.
it is still an incredibly small amount of affordable housing. The affordable housing concept is frankly bullshit because
Whoa, it's
the-
inclusionary zoning, not bullshit.
I know. But I'm talking in the grand picture, HUD, the metrics, the AMI, the pricing. It's not affordable in reality. It's affordable in the mathematics of the city, and all these exemptions and blah, blah, blah. But it's not realistic. So while I get, yes, it's great, we're building housing, this is wonderful. What we are getting is more luxury rentals. We're not getting units that myself and other people that are young professionals making under $100,000 can afford to live in.
You are incorrect in this case. And that's what's really important to hear.
Okay.
I've heard this presentation from you many times, and I agree with big chunks of it, right? However, this is inclusionary housing, which means the units are either at 80% of AMI, or they're at 50 and 60% of AMI, because the 45X pushes the income bands down lower, like the 421A pushed them down lower. The majority of units built in our district, affordable units, have been at 50 or 60% of AMI. We'll share, Marina, I've sent out to the committee, the reports that have been done in the inventory of affordable housing production in Hudson Yards and West Chelsea, all this kind of stuff. And it clearly demonstrates that's the majority of units, right? So in this case, there's some units at 8%, right? Which is like the unicorn of affordability for us, because that's above the low-income housing tax credit limits. And it's for the very folks you have spoken about, above those very lower limits and below the market. So this is kind of a thing that we don't see that much. That's kind of remarkable. So it's interesting to watch it develop because different developers do things in different ways. The large developments predominantly have been at 50 and 60, and then some units at 125, because that was the old affordable New York. But what we see is this.
80% AMI.
No, it's not our area, it's metro area.
80%.
See, that's the thing.
For one.
All of this comes from HUD that has lumped us in with Westchester and other areas, plus added an additional fee because we're a high cost of living area, which somehow makes everything more expensive instead of less expensive.
There is no high cost of living fee, that's incorrect information.
But they add something. There's some other thing that's added.
I've got to say again for everybody here. Metro area is not our metro area, it's metro areas across the country are done the same methodology.
SMSA?
SN, yes, this is still metropolitan.
What is it called?
SMSA.
Yeah.
So
So
that's
again,
the
I'm
Northern
gonna say
Jersey and
that we're
Connecticut.
not being treated differently here at all. It works the same way across the country. And one of the things that's worked against us as a city, right, is that our incomes have gone up in our region. And so therefore, those median incomes have gone up entirely. I have seen the growth of what was 60% of AMI, what was 80% of AMI is now 60.
So 80% AMI for one person is 90,720.
Yeah. For one person. That's maximum.
90,720.
Yep. And again, these are all maximums. I would say
Yeah.
well, yeah, but remember for a moment that the rents for a unit like that for a studio unit at 80% are $2,268. Studios in our neighborhood start at $4,000 or $4,500. So one of the things we have to balance here is what is the market producing out there versus what these various zoning programs, or other affordable housing programs are producing.
Well, in this building, would there be units at 50% AMI? So 60 and 80. So 50 is
60.
56,700. What's the rent?
The rent for 50% for studio 1417 for 60% AMI 1701.
I didn't know where czar as it comes to this, but I'm curious.
There are no czars.
But I'm curious about with the 6 that are permanent and the 12 that are not. At any point, will those 12 just disappear? Yeah.
30 years.
30 years, okay.
So
Thank you.
what's happening with Gotham West? That's all I got.
No, there's nothing happening with Gotham West on things disappearing because in fact, that information was part of partial, not correct last night. It's at our meeting. There is no disappearing. It's affordability for the 421A, affordable New York, or now the 45X are tied to the length of the mortgage, right? Because the mortgage is actually from bonds that come from the state or the city.
We talked a lot about enforcement in our community board. Is there any enforcement to make sure that these things continue to happen?
There are regulatory agreements, written legal regulatory agreements recorded against the length of property.
I just said about enforcement. I got the agreement, but the.
Oh, no, there's an entire division of HPD.
This is regulated, and then there's an agent that manages the program. So, I mean,
there are both
yeah,
third party
not in the hands
agent
of the, administrative agents.
and administrative agent, and then there's a city, part of the city agency that does this also.
And this has already been presented to HPD
Yes.
and approved by HPD.
Well, no, it's not.
Is it? You know, I'm very new to this. I'm just curious. I know
No.
HPD has to look at it.
HPD reviews everything as the content, but we still get this at this point in time, for our recommendation back as to what you got. So.
But HPD, somebody else has looked at that conforms law.
This is either city or state that does all this review. Because they're not getting past that gate until they meet the square footage, the numbers.
Yeah.
All the
And
different
we don't
portions.
get our building permits, etc. DOB does not approve the project unless it's been approved by HPD as well. And they are checking the math and everything. So,
Here.
Yeah, can you give us how many
affordable units for AMI band? Like how many 50 to 60%?
How about we do this? How about we get understanding what the building looks like first, and then into those details, because we haven't even got the picture of the whole thing. I think that's helpful.
Let me,
We have some.
and I may have to ask somebody else on our team to provide that information.
Okay,
I get that, I think that this isn't about your building, but I think what the numbers have sort of
Demonstrated.
elevated for me is the fact that we've talked a lot on our committee about the importance of affordable housing, and it's become abundantly clear to me that what we're doing as a committee of the city is focusing on affordable housing for the next 30 years. And that I fear that in 30 years, when our kids or our kids' kids or whatever are looking to buy, that we will have completely built out all of the city, and the vast majority of affordable housing is going to vanish. And I know vanish is not the right word.
no, but.
But it's going to market rate.
Well, no.
And so I guess I'm just wondering, maybe just as our committee, because what this has really highlighted for me is like, there is a real difference between permanently affordable
100%.
and affordable.
But-
And that maybe we can just make sure in all of our discussions going forward about whatever buildings or whatever we're talking about, is that we're always super clear about what the numbers are about permanently affordable and affordable.
So that's interesting. Mostly in the last 10 years, every project for that zoning related that's come to this committee has been affordable equals permanent, period. There are very few projects that we have that have had a mix of units, right? They're always it's the R10 districts. They're being bonus, there's 20 or 25%. And those, because of the inclusionary housing requirements, are all permanently affordable. So this is the change we're seeing. And also in certain 80/20s, there was an incentive program. What is it for? Help me, Maya, what's that incentive program for?
421.
No, the other one,
43.
the one in the middle.
Is something with a J?
Yeah, no, there's some. No, I know, there's another one. So what happened here is that the state of New York said, if you put more affordable units on or slightly higher income band, right? We'll give you a further tax exemption, but you must have more units and extend the affordability period.
Oh, like Silver Towers did that, right?
Exactly, yes. So the point of it is that there have been thoughts out there, very much of what you're saying, is that all of a sudden, what do you do? All these things come, finished.
So they re-sign and re-extend the.
It's kind of like a
tax
refinancing, but
exemption.
it's refinancing that gets, not refinancing, it's refinancing your tax exemption. You're getting, in exchange for extending it, you're putting more affordable units in. So there has been thought about this. Now, you should know, we should look at it in the affordable housing plan. There's a whole section that speaks about 80/20s that talks about expiring affordability restrictions. And that's something we've talked about a lot in the past. I'm glad that the members from the committee is interested in this, because that's our biggest problem. This is the Mitchell-Lama thing that happened. You built 40 years, all of a sudden, people get older, they have kids, and all across the city, these Mitchell-Lamas can say, oh, it's a rentable, buy them out, or it's a co-op. Penn South stayed in the program for affordability, Lower East Side, Grand Street co-ops, they went out. They bought for, $200 a room, $500 a room, and they sold for $400,000 then. So permanency does make a difference. And I think this is the kind of thing that we don't put a pin in it, but like, this is something this committee should discuss. Because it's really about, I know for a fact, having worked with many of these large developers, they make their money and these deals pencil out for the 30-year life of the mortgage. Period. They're done, they're fine, done. It's only gravy afterward. And it's just a matter of political will to ask that this affordability restrictions go longer. You guys should know that when you're dealing with across the nation, when they're tax exempt bonds, the restriction periods are sometimes 60, 70, 80 years. Very common in other jurisdictions. And I know this directly because I had to do research with some housing built off of the 53rd Street building on Site 7. We imposed a further restriction of 75 years. And the city said, you shouldn't do that because the mortgage, the tax exemption is gonna run out. It's like, so apply for more tax exemption, because you can't afford it, it's set up that you have to have some tax exemption. So this is a good policy thing to talk about, because if any place is gonna happen, it's gonna happen here first. Right, because of the nature of the value of land. We've gotten you totally off track, but thank you for helping.
I was trying to.
But again, just want to know, we're looking at it.
I'll be back for phase two.
We're looking at a through block ownership. They only have one lot in the middle, and we hope they come back and do the rest.
I'm sorry, so you own this?
Yeah,
The
gray.
The one gray. and
All
we
the
are
gray.
Working to get
all the gray.
with the developer, the other two adjacent properties.
They own the parcel on 43rd and the 125 by 100-foot lot on 43rd.
We have not built out all of the FAR on this building. There's about 9,000 square feet that's left over, plus what we would get from the other two pieces that that building will be slightly smaller, likely. But that's.
But it's a very good way to start a process off to get building happening.
Wait, I'm sorry, say that again. This one, you didn't use all your FAR. Because when you get more, you're gonna build and you wanna go taller.
No,
It'll be.
it'll be less than what this is.
Less.
So instead of-
This is about 71,000 square feet. And that total is about, I think, 49,000 square feet.
It's just being distributed differently across the lot.
If this total, you could build 120.
Will it be considered part of the same building?
No.
No, it's just.
Under 99 years.
Yeah, but in this case, not on purpose. They don't own it.
Oh, so are you using some of the development rights from lot 21 for this larger building? And then you're saving
Some,
some
yes.
for the
Yes, they
other,
are. Yes.
okay.
Topics, yeah.
So that's how this other one is getting larger, and then so you'll have less, and then you'll use what you get from the other two to build that out.
They have a higher,
Something like that.
they have the base FAR is 6.66, but they have more square footage, has a lot of area to begin with. Some of that comes from the 44th Street site.
Right.
Got
I
it.
mean, we could have built 80,000 over there, but we're not. We're only building 71.
Okay.
And I find it interesting, we were briefed the developers the second time, they said, you folks seem to be very, well, ask specific and technical questions. I said, wait to see the committee, and here we are. So go ahead.
All right, Melly, we can go to the next slide. So I'll just take you all through the floor plans. This is the cellar level. We have cellar level is essentially the building utilities. The street is on the left. We should have labeled it, but left of the page is 43rd Street. That's where all the utility rooms, etc. are. And then on the right side is the fitness, wellness, spa, treatment. Yeah, and I think that's good. Bike storage, etc.
Laundry room.
Yeah.
Can I ask a quick question? Is that 43 on bike storage, the number of?
I'm sorry?
It was
Is
just a
that,
little.
is that 43 on the left side of the bike storage room, the number of spaces?
The number of spaces.
There's a number right here, 43.
Yeah.
Don't click on it.
Don't touch it.
What do I do?
I think we don't,
You have 90 units, right? Don't you have to have 45 spaces?
yeah. That's probably a typo. We used to have fewer units, so I think we had 86 and we went to 90. So that 43 is probably left over from that. So thank you for pointing that out. We'll double check and correct it.
I think you could do the double like the perfect.
Yeah, I think these are already so.
And I think that also, I think you have to adjust the 10 for the bigger bikes, the 10% number also.
Yeah.
I think that has to go up.
Yes, thank you for pointing that out. So that's cellar. The next, we have a stair in the middle, the bottom connects the lobby to the cellar level, just kind of a convenient feature. Melly, can you go to the next, please? Thank you. So this is ground floor. Essentially the entrance lobby with a vestibule, some sitting space, you see the stair to the right. And then the back portion facing a landscape courtyard is kind of a lounge, co-working, and the game room.
And we thank you for a large package, because we all suffer with this.
Yeah.
This building development.
Okay, it should be even bigger, but.
I've seen several lobbies where boxes are stacked in front of the concierge. So, then floors, 2 and up. We can go to the next slide, please. So 2, the building has a setback, I believe, on 13. 2 and up is essentially residential units with a mix of studios, so the light. I mean, we just, there's no kind of color, coding for the units, they're just colored so you can distinguish the unit from one another. So there's a mix of 1 and studios and 2 bedrooms. Yeah, I can tell you the overall mix of the.
Yeah, do the overall then.
The units is, there's 28% studio, which is 25 of the 90. There's 47% 1 bedroom, which is 42 of the. There's 26% 2 bedroom, which is 23 of the 90.
I just have one more question. What's the current vertical, like in the top left, those VR and then parentheses 845-X? What is the 845-X?
I'm sorry, could you?
Where is it?
Top left, it's like under the.
It's the same on all of them. It doesn't have to do with the size of the apartment.
It's 485.
You know something? Yeah, it's backwards.
Yeah.
It's noting which units are
Oh,
affordable.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I have a
It's not a new program.
45 back.
better diagram.
I had a developer correctly saying it's 40, I say it's 58. So now we have an 845, so at least the numbers are still there in some given order. Yeah, I think this is, we're all learning these programs, so that's good to know. So those are affordable units. And we're gonna get a stacking chart pretty soon.
Yeah.
That'll show us where they land.
That's right.
I was,
And
sorry,
Go
just curious,
Go ahead.
what was the percentage again you just said of studios?
26%,
26%?
28, 47, 1 bedroom, and 26 2 bedrooms.
It's for us, that's more 2 bedrooms than usual, it's good.
It's a higher percentage of 2 bedroom than what we typically see.
Yeah, so I was thinking, okay.
You see like 15% to more than.
Right.
I like the private whole space.
Well, they say
Well, they're
private,
studios.
right. They say private hall because you can't call it anything else.
Exactly.
Or we call it a den, so that's the. Okay, keep going.
You've seen this before.
We've
Seen this movie before. We can flip through, I mean, the plans are fairly similar with slight change, just to, again, to accommodate the right, get to the right number, etc. So, this is the second floor,
Are you are they all able for affordability, the 45X or?
I have another
Oh,
set of
At
plans,
the
so
top, there's
it's
45/UFP, the top right.
Oh, there you go, right, there you go, that's your thing, got it. Okay,
So every unit that's like that says it, right? Yeah. So the next one, the 2 bedroom says it with the balcony, very nice.
So what's the balcony looking at? This is the street, right?
yeah, that's the street, so
It's over the
balcony, it
courtyard.
has a courtyard,
Those are
landscape
courtyard, which will
courtyard.
stay there when the other buildings are.
That's right, yeah.
they're required rear yards, this kind of.
I mean, fortunately, we have a good number of balconies in the rear of the building, and they are well distributed between market rate and affordable units. So, now we can switch to the next plan, which is floors 4 and 5. Again, a larger two and similar studios, on the ends, 1 bedroom and a 2 bedroom in the middle. And then there's a 1 bedroom, the B unit and the studio next to it. Next, please. So this plan takes us to the 12th floor, which is the floor below the setback. Again, a lot of it stays the slightly different designation of units. Maybe if we can go to the next one, please.
Next slide.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear. Thank you, Katie.
I know this is our other thing we do here, we have to yell.
So this is the setback for 13. Yeah, but-
Yeah, that's the front.
So the left side is 40.
right. If you go to the next one, please.
Yeah.
So here we have balconies. Above that, so the unit on the bottom, I think, Nelly, could you go back one, please?
You have a 45X
Yeah,
there.
so that's a 45X unit. That studio with the balcony is also 45X unit.
And it's 3 building into 14, right?
Sorry?
No, 17.
Oh, 17.
Right, so this is 15, then there's 15, 16, and then there's, so, you go to the next one. Please. Yeah, so. And then, the top. Next one, please. Yeah. So that's 17, and here again, that B unit in the corner is a 45X and UAP.
Could you show your staffing plan next? That'd be helpful. So one of the things is this developer did a lot of research on our board, checked on letters, how we respond, and has filled out a questionnaire for inclusionary housing. They know for making that change from that inclusionary to UAP. So your staffing chart, we can look at that.
Yeah, let me,
Oh, sorry.
go to the next one, which is the roof amenity.
Yeah.
So I think this is gonna be a very nice, amenity for the residents. There is some mechanical here, but amenity space, and, so there is a set of plans after this, which is the same plans, but it has the units color coded and labeled, and the 845 is correct here, so. So now if you go to the next plan, please. Yeah, so here, these are the colors, sort of the beige, brown, and each sort of light color units. And the blue tones are 485X units, and if they are both, it will say that.
I have a question for you. So this has, the blue are the 485s? That's what you said. So if you look at page 4, and I'm not sure I'm reading this right, so you have to help me. And I go to like construction story 2, it says no, for all units of no affordable housing unit.
Sorry, so. Page 4.
On the page with the bottom right, the blue and white table.
Where is this from here, Brian? Like, is it one page or like?
No, it's like, I think it's like page 4.
Oh, it's much further.
It's much further towards the top. Yeah, so I'm just looking at this because the next question Joe's asked is like, what is the affordable units spread throughout the building? And you're showing us second floor has 2 affordable units. I'm looking at like the table here and it says no affordable units on the second floor. So I could be reading it wrong.
I think you're reading it right, probably some errors in there, I'm guessing, because the plan is controlling, right?
485, there's 2 on the same one.
No,
So maybe there's a
There's
discrepancy between the floor
units.
plan
I-
and the
I'm
chart.
sorry, maybe I'm on the wrong page.
Here, so if you,
There's 3, then there's 4.
if you go to page 4, which is most of the page is white, and then there's a table on the bottom right. It says affordable housing unit for the second floor, all those.
So why don't you come back to that? Why don't you just go through the
Yeah.
pages here and then look at the table?
I'll-
We need to
I'll-
get this corrected
Get it,
for our
get it,
position,
Get it,
right?
if there is a. So this is the second floor, we can go to the next one.
Next page, Nelly?
Yeah, so these are the 3 units towards the back, and 2 of them have, or actually all of them have
Balconies.
balconies.
Next,
Next to and then it's 4 and 5. Which is now the 1 unit in the front and 2 in the back. Or actually 3 in the back.
next one, Nelly? So that stays the same, 6 to 11, correct?
That's right.
Next, Nelly? Nothing on 12?
And actually, I'm sorry, is this the floor, if I recall correctly, that where the setback starts, or is it one?
Yeah,
floor?
that's 13.
The next one.
Next slide, Nelly? Okay,
This is, yeah, that's 13.
So on 12 and 18, there's none.
No.
next,
Here's 2, that's 14.
that's a large
And
2-bedroom.
15 does not have any,
Mhm.
which is the next plan, please. And then you can go to the next one.
Next,
Doesn't that one have affordable 15?
No,
I thought I saw. You go to 15 real quick?
no, 15 is nothing.
if you go back up,
Yeah, I'll have to,
Right at the lower left,
yeah.
lower left,
checking, yeah.
B.
oh yeah, it says UAP.
Oh, not colored properly. Thank you, Charles.
Yeah.
Calista.
Nice.
Yeah.
Tell my dog.
Okay.
And then on 16 is the 1 unit, and then 17 is the next plan, please.
So we have almost every floor has 1 or more affordables. They're at different locations. Both the market rate and the affordables have balconies or outdoor spaces. And there's a mixture of studios, 1s and 2s. Now we know that has to mirror, the affordable distribution has to mirror the market rate distribution. But I'll ask the question before Brian, I'll ask the question. The apartment finishes are the same throughout, correct? That's right. Another one of our big asks. And then the other piece is the amenities, right? Those are accessible to all the tenants, correct? Right.
Without a cost, additional costs to the.
That's right, yeah, they're open to all the residents.
So, again, we are working, Ray and I, with Jesse to update our checklist. So it ties in better to the new program, that's the thing. But we have a small building here that is actually, it felt like Ray and myself, like they looked at our past meetings, our past requests, whatever, and they checked all the boxes in terms of the actual project before they walked in the door. So that was kind of a refreshing thing for us, right?
Well, we struggle when buildings have outdoor space and they usually happen at setbacks. And there are no balconies, so there's always this kind of like, well, how do we provide, outdoor space for the affordable units? So we were, very happy that our client So no, I want to do balcony, let's do a good mix of market rate and affordable units that will have outdoor space.
And the roof amenities open to all too.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, and you mentioned the services, there's like an extra fee, I guess, like for the pet spa or whatever.
You know,
No,
I
no,
don't know how they will operate that, but again, I mean, if it's just really
You normally
a tub and a, you know.
It's for you to do it
It's
yourself.
self-service for the.
It's self-service.
Okay, I'm sorry, somebody just asked a question though about like extra services.
And he said, Kevin asked the
It's all
question.
service.
He said,
Amenities.
all amenities,
Instead of fee
there are
for
no
the-
charge. That's
The
what he
answer is
explained.
no,
You're right, that's right.
but
Um,
the spa would happen.
Well,
Yeah, I mean,
Sure.
that's an operational thing, so I can't speak to that.
So
because-
therefore, we need to know this. Why don't you go down to the cellar for a second?
I think we have somebody here from the client side, maybe they can answer that.
So Nelly, you go down to the cellar plan. Zev, could you answer that question?
Have to unmute myself. Yes, there's gonna be on the spa is gonna be charged for everybody, not for the market rate as well. It's gonna be no definition between the market rate and the other people in the building.
No, he said there's no difference, but I guess my question is,
I guess there's a fee.
Yes, there will be a fee for the spa.
Okay, so let's stay away from the spa for a second. Everything else besides the spa, there is no fee for any other amenity. Is that correct?
Yes.
Good, so that's step one and done. So now, in amenities where we have a fee, we then normally ask for there to be some sort of discount for the affordable tenants, so they can actually access it and be part of the community of the building. So you don't have to answer that to us now, but that's gonna be a request we make. When we get a commitment letter back from you, it's some sort of discount, whatever it may be, that helps it be more accessible. And we do that across the board, and that's for
No.
large buildings.
Noted.
Thanks, yeah, not the other way around. Yes, I think we accomplished that in that, development on 11th Avenue, in between 46th and 47th Street, we worked that out there, so I think we can do it here. So questions, by the way, I said questions on the committee, but I think we've been questioning. But here-
Very quick question, I mean, if combining lots, like have you merged them, or are you planning to merge them, or will remain the?
Right now, what you see is the merged lot.
Is it merged
The
lot?
T is a merged lot.
Okay.
And when we do, hopefully we do. Yeah.
Can you put the,
It would be one zoning lot.
Okay, good.
So you can walk through from 44th to 43rd, is that what you're saying? Is that what you're asking?
No, what I'm asking is if.
not today, there's only one building,
Oh, but, okay, good, okay.
one building. And just that as a general question, if and when you do the second phase, this will be operated as two separate entrances, I'm assuming, or is it one entrance?
Yeah, because I mean, the way they are going to be designed and, you know.
It's
the
fine.
nature, yeah. So most likely, but there may be some, you know, some interaction, some synergy, some.
You may change the courtyard, have a larger courtyard.
Yeah, larger courtyard, you know, maybe there's some cross sort of, you know, you can use the fitness here and there's some other amenity there that this building can use there, so, you know. There's no, I mean, we've seen,
Operationally, it's easier to run that kind of thing, obviously.
yeah, and we've seen, you know, we've seen, developers duplicating amenities in these two buildings, but I feel that, you know, you can provide more amenity and different amenity with a better user space, but that's something that, you know,
Katie had a question.
everybody does.
Can we get them?
Yeah, could you put the cellar back on, please? No, Brian?
Um,
Nelly, the taste of the cellar?
I know you said before the HPD has like a minimum. The affordable units have to be distributed amongst a minimum of 50% of the floor, so
65%.
65%. Okay, so
we-
is that the
we
same for
normally-
this UAP?
Yes, but we normally achieve 80 at least, and that's where we're in the negotiation with Whitfield North right now. In this case, it's 100%.
This might be a math problem because they don't have enough UAPs, but like.
If you don't have enough units, you do what you can.
You do what you can, okay.
Yeah, but we
And-
normally
and I
say
mean, again,
affordable.
It's not, it's through 65, it's not, doesn't mean that each of the units, each of the floors must have one. It's, you have to extend them up to that many, and
Until
here we have,
max.
we have up to the highest floor has.
It'll be, normally we succeed at very much with 80%. And then we have the question sometimes, Brian, of exposure. Like at one point, we looked at that building on 23rd and 8th, the new one, and they actually had all the affordable units facing in the back of the courtyard, which was a very like constrained space. So we worked with them to distribute them better and different exposures to the building. So in the cellar, there's always amenities, so make sure people can see it clearly. Laundry, wellness, gym, yoga, podcast studios, hysterical, bike storage, bathrooms, and then the spa. The spa is just that one corner, right, in the upper right. Okay. And then go to the first floor, please.
Next slide, please.
There you go. And then here, these amenities, the co-working, the game room, kids room, again, lounge, all part of it. So when we get a letter back from the developer, they'll list all the items, so we know it's bringing clarity to it. We always do follow up with HPD then saying, please embody this in your regulatory. We've had a good robust discussion so far, so let's go around the room. Any other further questions?
Can you go back to the site plan, please?
Which one?
The site plan, the T.
The lot?
The lot, yes.
Which page is that?
You'll have to go to the beginning of this,
To go like back, one or two slides.
yeah, before these colored, I think 2 or 3, yeah.
2 or 3 back.
It's the one before the cellar.
Yeah, keep going, back.
The one.
There we go.
Oh,
That's it.
Okay, so the backyard that we're speaking about, it doesn't have anything to do with lot 21, it stays on that side, okay?
Yes.
Nice.
So
That's
around,
my plan, thanks.
of course. Final questions, Kevin. Pete? Brian? Lisa? Question?
No, just when the spa includes obviously what looks like treatment, massage and therapies, and it also has some other semen sauna.
Yeah.
So is it like a fee to use, is it a monthly fee or is it per usage?
It seems like a fee for the whole thing.
The hotel.
It feels like a fee for the whole
The
thing.
gym is free, but you have to pay for your 60-minute shots.
But you could use, can you use the sauna?
No,
Probably only if you have an appointment.
I'm assuming it would be a monthly.
yeah.
I think there's actually a fee
He said
here,
yes.
and we'll get clarity.
That's what I just heard, so.
It's a fee to go to the
It's a
spa.
fee for
Yeah,
that,
tell
that
Yeah.
spa portion.
Like to join that.
Yeah.
The gym is free.
Well, as long as the fees apply to everyone. that's
Right,
fair.
the fee, if it's not affordable for people making those income bands, that's the problem we had on 11th Avenue, we worked it out.
Fair versus equitable.
Hey, right.
I was wondering in connection with these lots that you don't own yet, that you're interested in, are you close to negotiating a final acquisition?
I don't know enough about it.
We wish it's like it's a bumpy road, like it's on and off. We were almost close to finish and then it got bumpy. We don't know yet. That's why we decided to do at least building 1. We were trying to wait, but it came to a point that we couldn't wait anymore. We decided to go with building 1. We're hoping, we're still trying. We left FAR off the table to be able to do a nicer building, but we're still trying.
Because I just wondered if this was an example of you're not going to want to have more than a 99-unit building. So you're going to want to have 2 99-unit buildings.
I think they're assembling and they're not quite done yet. Questions, Katie? You're. Yeah, good.
Oh, online?
Oh, online, anybody, Travis?
There's also one there.
Who else on?
Hector,
Oh,
Paul.
Hector, Paul, Travis, any questions?
Please,
1 second.
Rachel, can you, I think you have to hit, yeah.
Oh, well, how did it switch again? Oh,
There we go. Yes, so we have Hector.
oh, and Roberta.
Oh, Roberta has joined us. Any questions, Roberta? Travis, no? Okay, and
No,
yes,
no.
Roberta? No? And Paul, any questions? Okay,
Committee members, if you can just try to have your camera on, please.
yes, yeah, that's right. You have to have your camera on if you're. Okay. Paul, try to get your camera on, please. All right, so I think this is first of all, thank you, representing the developer. Seth, thank you for being here. I think you are understanding that our committee is fairly well versed in these things and very interested in how it
Yes.
probably works. not your normal community board
I,
experience.
I enjoyed it.
It's a pleasure working with a community board that understands more than many other community boards.
We've gotten that note before. Thank you.
Yeah.
Is there a motion to support the development? Remember, this is subject to getting the letter of commitment from the developer about all the items that we talked about. So it's memorialized.
So moved.
So moved. Second. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed? Online also? Oh, no, sorry. You're online if you are excused. We'll check that out with Jesse and we'll record it properly. Rachel and Maria and I will work on that. All right, so thank you so much for coming and appreciate it very much. Thank you very much for coming, Sarah. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend.
Okay. Now we're gonna stay in the flavor of affordable housing, but into something else entirely. This development came to us last in December of, Sarah Levinson? Yes, there you are. Okay. Came to us last in December. Hello, both guys. It came to us last in December of 25. This is on the block between 9th and 10th on West 45th on the south side. If you remember, jog your memories, the old Tootsie Roll factory. Remember the discussion? The old Tootsie Roll building. And they brought us a building that we liked the program, which was moderate middle income housing. They were getting no subsidy except for an Article 11 tax exemption. But there was not a lot of love for the building itself. We have to go back and figure out a way to make it better into the block. Turn it over to you, Sarah, from L&M. And your L&M partners, not even partners today. Very interesting.
No worries. Hi, everyone. Good to see everyone. I'm going to share my screen, and I think Joe teed me up well. We went on quite a journey to refine our facade and our design over the past couple months. Let me know if, can you see my screen? Okay, great.
I know that there were multiple meetings that we kept postponing because they were not ready yet. So that's why they're here this late.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we spent the past few months and also in consultation with the chair of the committee refining this design. And I think the extra time really was beneficial. And I think we've made a lot of progress. So we're going to take you on the journey of where we started and all of the stops along the way. So this was, the initial facade that I think we showed everybody. And the feedback that we got, rightfully so, was that there was a lot of glass. The windows were a little bit larger than what was contextual on the block, but also this part of Hell's Kitchen. And if we could take a look at, working on the fenestration, reducing the window size and making it more in scale with the rest of the block and the adjacent buildings. So then we progressed to this design, which provided a split window, and we had enclosed them in metal shrouds to really focus on the window size. And, I think there was still a little bit too much glass. And we took a look, I think Joe and I did a virtual walk around the neighborhood together and looked at some of the new precedent for I would say manufacturing style windows versus the older precedent to see if we could get a little bit more refined on our window design, which we were able to achieve. So here we were able to provide a window grid. We were reducing our glass and really leaning into the brick. We removed the metal shrouds around the windows on the upper floors for brick returns and added some more brick at the street level. I think we were still kind of, let me see if I can, my hand, we were still kind of struggling with this entryway. And there was a little bit too much glass and it still didn't quite fit with the building. And, there was also a preference to remove some more of the metal shrouding on the first floor, which we continue to work on. So this is a zoom out. I have a multitude of images here, but this is really removing the metal shrouds in favor of consistent brick returns on all floors. And let me see if I can zoom in a little bit here for the entryway moment was really focusing on the residential entry and looking back to the historic manufacturing style buildings of the early 20th century or late 19th century, really looking at raw industrial materials and then also having these tiebacks which is also quite historic. And this is kind of giving you another angle from the side to get a look at what the ground floor plan would look like, the canopy on the angle, and the brick returns here. And then this was and here we're still working on this moment. This is really where we're going to have the plaque with a lot of history regarding the Tootsie Roll factory and some information on how historic the site is. And then this is kind of a fun one, is if you can look at, I'll try to zoom in a little bit, but just kind of looking at the progression over the past few months of how we've improved on and continue to refine the design. And I'll leave it here, but I think we've made a lot of progress.
How do people feel about it? This is like that. The goal was to get it to be like was an industrial building.
Yeah.
That was converted as opposed to this. I mean, the first version we called it Anywhere in Chelsea.
Yeah, you did. You did. And it's rightfully so.
Your own thoughts?
Oh, I like it fits on the block. I mean, the windows, it all seems to work
got
together.
scale, right?
Yeah, it all seems to work together.
And it works all the way down.
I think the back and forth on the ground floor, like this looks like it could be an old industrial building on the ground floor that was.
Yeah, it works on the block. It looks like between the other buildings, it doesn't look that different. But newer.
Pete?
Well, and it's contextual, isn't it?
Yes.
Rachel? Yeah, raise Rachel nodded.
Yeah, I think it looks lovely. I do have a question. I just think it looks sort of odd over here on the first floor.
The
angle of the street.
Yeah, could you pull the slide up? We can't see how the sidewalks.
Oh, hold on. I'm getting an error message. My screen sharing is paused. Did I do something wrong, Nellie? I'm stopping and I'm gonna reshare.
Yes, again.
I broke it, Nellie. I'm sorry. Hold on one second. Let me find it. So you're talking about over here?
You need to, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
left.
Yeah, we can see it now. It's because the sidewalk slopes down.
It's
Yeah,
it's an elevation change of this. It's the grade. We're on a hill.
Yeah, no, I get that, but it just, like, I think in some of your earlier renditions, there were maybe like some windows down there. I don't know, there was some attempt at other than just like
What's in your,
block
yeah,
brick.
what's in your cellar there in that front?
This
I don't
is,
remember.
yeah, this is amenity space and back of house space.
So is there an ability maybe to introduce some, like, what would have been cellar type windows? I think we have that in Chelsea in a number of places.
I was gonna say, you actually had it in like one of your earlier drawings. You
Yeah,
had-
let me see if I can, let me pull up one of the earlier ones. Hold on.
Yeah, there you go.
And maybe.
Yeah, down here, so you can almost kind of see. Yeah, we could definitely take a look at it and see how it looks. I think, to be honest, we were kind of struggling because they get a little bit smaller or disappear as you go towards 10th Avenue. So I think we were just trying to figure out what
But
the
would
right
that
balance is, but we can definitely look at it.
If they became windows, would that provide light into that amenity space? Oh, you're.
I keep breaking it, Joe. I'm sorry. Yeah, we can definitely take a look and see if
That's some construction of grid because you want that scale at the bottom too, not just these pieces.
yeah.
Yeah, you do?
I do. I think I need glass. It's like, why?
Planters
Somebody's
or
gonna
something,
break
I don't
it so
know,
close to the
just-
sidewalk.
Go back to the current version.
Sure. Hold on a second. Hold on, one more. This is the current.
I think it would just be hard because it would eventually have to like disappear out.
Yeah, that's the problem. So you might end up, it's funny because we spent a lot of time obsessing about this in a totally healthy way, of course, but it does start, you're not going to be able to, you might really only get some over here.
Maybe some issues with folks wanting to peer into.
That is also another concern we had, was people trying to, yeah.
Well, there would be bars, but I'm thinking more about some of our street folks.
You could do glass block.
Would that be, but it would be even with this kind of. We're getting it mixed here, looks good. Great.
Yeah, that's right.
Folks, please, it's okay. Yes, please. I was with you, Katie, I think we got the majority saying leave it as is.
What about online?
Oh, online, folks, yes, I'm sorry. Travis, Paul, Roberta.
Hector is coming in and out. Hector's having
Yeah,
technical issues.
Hector drops off and on, I keep hearing. Any thoughts, guys?
I think the design looks great.
Yeah, I concur.
Pretty.
Okay, so.
Best looking factory I've seen in a long time.
So we've accomplished another miracle thing. Can you just go through us, you can take the rendering down, talk to us about refresher course for the unit count, the unit distribution, and the AMI bands. And this.
Okay. I have to, I've been in facade land. So I think we are at 51 units. 2/3 of them would be affordable to middle income home, households. And I guess just to make sure everyone remembers, this is a home ownership project, not a rental project.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Paul?
Paul, put yourself on mute.
Sorry. I'm just.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, talk, Sarah, you'll come back.
Okay, great. So 1/3 of them would be market rate, 2/3 would be middle income. I think we're looking at 23 1-bedrooms, 23 2-bedrooms, 5 3-bedrooms. And we're looking at, I think the middle income bands are probably 145 to 155% AMI, which I think, you hear a lot about it. It's really the missing middle, but I know that this community board had highlighted it in their housing needs plan and others. And I think you kind of heard it when Joe was taking you through the history of the 80/20 and affordable rental housing in this neighborhood, which was a little bit nostalgic for me, Joe, to be honest. Was there was always a lot of tax credit units coming on the market here.
So, and then what are the rough, purchase prices? You talked to us about this before.
Yeah, so the 2026 AMIs just came out and, I'm going to give you some rough numbers because I think we're still refining, but it would be anywhere between probably $700,000 for a 1-bedroom, all the way up to probably in the 900,000 or higher, like high 900,000s for a 3-bedroom.
And what is the market rate for the similar type units? What would be that range, you would think? If that helps us compare.
Yeah, sure. The market rate units are anywhere probably around 1.4 to over 1.8, 1.9.
And they provide the subsidy for the affordable.
Correct. I mean, I think to be able to do this without HPD subsidy is pretty unique, but it's the market rate piece and the Article 11 tax exemption, which would make this project possible.
I'm just gonna go back to the AMIs for a second, so people get the idea of it.
Yeah,
And I am working on the 2025 AMIs, because the 2026 got published like 2 days ago, so.
Yeah.
I was trying to do the math on the side here. I think I have it, but yeah, we can do 2025.
The website's not been updated yet. This just happened. There was a delay because HUD is not fully staffed. That's what HPD explained to us. What a surprise, right? So for a single person at, I'm calling this at 130, so let's say 130 AMI, that's like
This is
150.
145 to 155.
Correct, but that doesn't exist on the HPD website yet. So that's,
like 160.
Hmm?
160.
no, 160, no, it's 145 is not 160.
No, 160,000.
Yeah, oh, yes, correct, right, 160,000, correct, right. And then for a family of 4, Katie, do it quickly, is 210 plus.
I'm just like finding a number in the middle. So what, like 235, 240?
So this would hit that middle income band that are the families that have children or the extended family that absolutely cannot afford the market. Because those 3-bedroom units are starting at 1.6, 1.8, and here we're at $900,000 range. So that's it. I mean, this is the range of housing we've been trying to find, all these different income bands. This plugs really well part of it. Our affordable housing crisis doesn't get solved by the one magic bullet. It's 45 magic bullets. And the fact that there is no capital subsidy here from HPD. That's the interesting part.
Oh, I do have
Katie.
that. What would, so how, obviously, being a co-op, what are the maintenance fees for the middle income units?
I think we're still refining the budget at this point, but the sales prices are very much tied to an allocable share of maintenance. So similar to a rental, your household burden is capped at 33% of your income. So you're using the same calculus for a homeownership project in the sense that for all of the affordable homeownership units, you're taking their allocable share of the maintenance, but then that maintenance is basically what you're paying, your 33%, and you're backing into a mortgage from there to ensure that it's affordable to the affordable homeowners.
You can't get homeownership lending to happen unless you're at that like 30 to 33%.
Debt to income ratio.
No, of maintenance and mortgage.
Yes.
Together. So how they do it is they don't say the maintenance is X. They say the mortgage is Y, and no, the maintenance.
So if you're,
Oh, it's unequal too.
So
It's unequal.
okay, so if you're taking out a higher mortgage, your maintenance will be lower?
No.
It's usually the inverse, but it is sized to ensure that the household cost, whether it's a maintenance fee or your mortgage, is still not going to exceed that 33% of your household income.
So you could potentially have, again, because it will be based on the individual purchaser, not on the unit. The maintenance fee will be determined by.
Not the purchaser, it's by the size of the unit.
That's correct. It's the size of the unit and the AMI that it's pegged to.
Because, it all depends on how much you're putting down.
Right, but how these HPD homeownership programs work, it's just people are gonna fall in a certain band, right? And they cannot carry mortgage and maintenance of more than X, period. And therefore, some people who could qualify don't have enough down payment, whatever, they're not gonna be able to qualify. Now,
Okay, so it's just a very limited amount of people can qualify for.
well, no, also, this is, if there's a first time homeownership, then there's additional benefits that come. That HPD has a separate program. Right?
It's only the mortgage. HPD's holding
No, the individual, the bet.
It's up to the individual buyer to.
There are two kinds
get
of
their own
mortgages.
mortgage?
There's a mortgage on the building itself, right?
No.
The individual mortgage is like, you have to, when you appear, right now, we have 201 7th Avenue on 22nd Street. There was a lottery for that. Everyone who applied for that had to come pre-approved for a mortgage. Otherwise, you're not even qualified for that. And all the prices were set, everyone knows what it is, so people know when they apply, I can't afford combo of maintenance and mortgage. Now, the unique thing on this project is they have a specific thing they've worked out. Remember that the maintenance cost for the market rate units is gonna be higher, right? Because they're carrying more of the building mortgage in it. So they have this very interesting thing worked out. So that helps subsidize the maintenance for the affordable units. Did I express that properly, Sarah?
I think so. The other thing on the end loans is that it is really important to us, obviously, that these homeowners can get end loans. So we spend a lot of work on our homeownership project as soon as we close on construction financing to reach out to our lending partners, to agency partners, to see who has down payment assistance programs, but also what end loan providers would be interested in working with us on this project. So we're able to make sure that whoever's applying for this through the lottery has all the tools that they need to be successful purchasers here. We're just as incentivized to make sure that these end loans are in place and these units are sold as those who are applying for them. So it's a very symbiotic relationship. And I think, we would be working also with this community board to make sure that, word gets out that these units are going to be coming online. We'll probably do some sort of, we've done this before where we've done town halls to really prepare people for what an affordable homeownership unit entails, or what homeownership even entails, to be perfectly honest, so that people who are applying for these units are ready to be homeowners, but also are able to apply for the correct unit and make sure that they qualify. I think that's some of the most difficult pieces of affordable homeownership right now, is making sure people are ready, they apply for the correct unit so they don't get disqualified, but then also really understand what the process is going to be along the way.
So are these units, the 2/3 of the units, are they permanently?
You took it out of my mouth.
Are they, no matter when the mortgage is paid off for the building, will all of the 2/3 of the units be permanently affordable?
It's an interesting question. I think this one, it's something that we can definitely explore. This one is very much tied to the Article 11. There's no subsidy here to keep these units affordable. So it means that it's very, very important that a full tax exemption stays in place. And the Article 11 can only be extended by city council. So we're going for the 40-year, the full tax exemption as long as we possibly can. And I think we're trying to figure out a mechanism if possible, but we can't commit to anything because the council action or the way that this tax exemption is structured is a little bit out of our control at this point.
Let's say,
What about when you sell people?
Let's not get there first. That's the next question, right? But let's talk then, Sarah, because what I just noted, that's exactly what I did in the Clinton Housing Site 7 project. We have a longer affordability period than we have tax exemption. And we made that choice as a calculated risk, knowing that when you have a lot of people involved in something, it's easier to go back to the council asking for an extension of a tax exemption, because a lot of people are going to have a problem with it. So I think we're going to recommend a longer term affordability here, because we do not want, I know we're older, right? But you wake up one day and all of a sudden 40 years goes by and then Penn South goes away. You don't want this is like a mini Penn South, right? With a mixture of market rate and stuff. We want to keep this long-term affordable. And yes, that might be a special risk that you put in your offering plan, but I think getting approval from this community board, this city council member, this new one, longer affordability is the name of the game. So I think that's a really important to bring up. Now, Matt, you're talking about resale. Yeah, different issue, not building market affordability.
No.
Right.
Can you sell your affordable unit?
So here's the question.
How much
What kind of resale restrictions and or recapture do you have for the resale of an affordable unit? Because it's clearly below market.
So this one, it is definitely below market. I think this is a little bit unique because we are in uncharted territory, since we are still in discussions with HPD about this solely as it relates to the Article 11, but HPD does have a homeownership open door program that's currently in place. And what we would like to do here, since we're proposing to do this unfettered by city capital and outside of that program's term sheet, is to have resale appreciation be a little bit different than the open door program currently has it structured. So I think what we would like to do is have resales really be pegged to AMI, so that if you're selling your unit in 10 years after you initially bought it, but you bought a 145% AMI unit, that unit would still be affordable to a household that's earning 145% AMI. It would just be in 2036 instead of 2026.
Which makes sense. That makes sense. And any recapture back to the co-op to maintain for capital improvements and reserve funds?
Yeah, the flip tax. I think we're still trying to work out what makes sense on the flip tax side of things. We've seen all sorts of, I think co-ops in the city are all over the place. The inclusionary homeownership program has a 7% flip tax. I think Open Door has 10, if I remember correctly. So I think we're trying to figure out what makes the most sense here.
Yeah, the community doesn't know yet, but we are now in the end game of this 201 7th Avenue and 22nd Street. And I inquired about what are the various flip taxes, affordability. and it seems to be kind of loose. So I think we're gonna want them to come back here, AFE, and present to us, so we get this, because the last thing after going through that whole drama on 22nd Street and 7th Avenue, no one should be buying and flipping, because imagine what you can get at that location.
Absolutely.
Pete?
Yeah.
I
was going to ask a question again regarding any restrictive covenants regarding the market rate and the affordable in regards to subleasing, renting out.
Subletting. Yeah, no, I think that's an interesting question. Again, we haven't thought we still have to have discussions with HPD. That's why I'm hesitating because we're to be honest, we're in uncharted territory here with this new pilot. But I think obviously the middle income units, they would need to be their primary residence. I don't necessarily think that we would want them to be leased out to anyone else on the market at this point. So the affordable units would be a primary residence requirement.
I think these are the things, as we're talking, I thought tonight was our final go at this. I think it's our final go on the facade, right? Yeah. And then to say, and support the Article 11 in concept, but then to note these items to come back to us as you develop them, Sarah, because these are important. These are important things, and also the community was very aligned with this idea of this kind of housing. But now the devil is in the details, right? The idea that you take the market rate subsidizing the middle income and you figure out how to mix it together. This is a good model.
And inheritance in the same vein of subleasing, can they be?
In any co-op, you inherit the share. You don't inherit the right to occupy.
You have to requalify.
Yeah.
You have to requalify.
In any co-op.
And if you don't qualify, you have to sell it at an affordable rate.
Yes.
If that's in the.
Okay.
If that's in the one.
That's what it is.
I mean, I think
If that's how.
Right, I think this is the sort of things that you're coming up with an innovative idea.
Right, and.
But let's figure out how to do it, and pretty much become some city program one day, so let's go do it.
Yeah.
But hopefully it's not innovative for only 40 years.
Well, I think we're all.
If you're tying into that AMI, whenever you resell, then it's permanently affordable, because it will all be, the AMI should always be an affordable.
Yeah, but beware the trust fund needs, I deal with it all the time.
Yeah, the trust fund, yeah, that's exactly, the devil is in the details.
The trust fund babies come in, they have income qualified, and they have this pile of money in the bank, so they pay cash, so.
Sarah, I just wanted to ask you, how many 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms did you say?
23 of each.
And then, and how many threes?
5.
So, I think this is like, we moved ahead on this one, right? But it's even better because we started to get folk and see what's happening. I think the idea would be here to do lettering in support the concept out of the Article 11, but asking them to come back as they go ahead and note these bullets, which are the longer term affordability, absolutely, for around 40 years. The resale that keeps you within the AMI bands purchased will be indexed, of course. We want to know about the flip tax and how that works, and then primary residency and issues about subleasing. So we can sort of craft this as, here are the things we know, here are things we want to know further about. As you move through the process now, because I'm assuming, can you tell us where you are in the development process so we understand the general timeline of this?
Yeah, so
Assessments to that, how they deal with assessments later on.
Special assessments?
Yeah, so you need to assess the people, the affordable, pay more of the assessment, less of the assessment.
I will tell you right now.
Oh, the same thing also for maintenance increase.
Yeah.
No, but the maintenance increase works because
it's the increase on their level.
It's on their income band. So they have, they figured out a way to do not the same maintenance. So there's more.
So because it's not the same maintenance, they can do the same percentage when you go.
Yes, right. Special assessments, I've worked with folks who have had to leave their buildings because the special assessments were so high.
Yeah.
They came in affordable.
Especially with all the local laws happening.
One other question.
Yes.
It's not a boiler, it's gonna be electric.
This is electric building, right, Sarah?
yes, 100% electric.
Okay. Sorry. So does that sound like the general idea? Okay. Online, Paul, Hector, Travis, Roberta,
In favor.
Ava, okay. Roberta,
No questions. It's a really interesting project and it's been interesting also to have you walk through it.
Thank you.
Hector. Travis, his thumb is up. And Hector has dropped off again, or is he here? He's dropped off again. Yeah. Okay. All right, so with that general concept thing, all those in favor? Oh, so no, so to leave it. Oh, so please.
Just the
Second? Yeah.
Second by Kate.
Okay.
All in favor? Great. I want to say, thank you. This is a very, yes. This is a very serious, like, these two projects together.
Yeah.
Like housing development 101 sort of thing. Zoning and, you know, tax exemptions.
We'll get some more practice.
I do want to note that it is a little dystopian that a one bedroom for $700,000 is considered affordable.
It is. It is.
No, again, it is.
No.
Katie, I agree with you 100%.
It just feels really awkward to be like, you know, and again, it's nothing about, I know that's other forces, but it's just really weird to be like, oh, it's a great project that like, I don't know anyone. I'm 40 years old and I just became a homeowner and I only did it because my father died and left me an inheritance. I don't know anybody else. And I paid nowhere near that amount. I don't know anybody else who would be able to do this. And that's insane, like truly insane.
Literally the conversation in like many of our houses.
Yes.
So literally, I sent this project over, like the specs on this, to someone I know that's looking to buy a house that's like in their 30s, a young professional, and they're like, Travis, there's no way I can afford this. And so as we went through this, I think it's a great project, but at the same time, like it just misses a whole generation of folks that like are looking for starter homes and have student loans and all the other things. It's not a real reality.
So I actually wrote for Old and New Business if we could actually talk about this some more.
So
She's mentioning it, Hector's mentioning it to me. I agree with her. I'm a licensed clinical psychotherapist and I am not even at 80% AMI with my day job.
I have a niece who's a civil service worker, right? They're buying it. I'm so thrilled they're buying a house. They have 2 kids. They're in their 40s. $830,000 for a 3-bedroom house. And it's insane. And they're like thrilled that they found it for such in New Jersey.
I know, we're all like,
But I mean, the idea though, that they were thrilled in Verona, New Jersey. This is not like the whole idea, they're thrilled. I'm like, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, what they do.
Right.
I mean, as many people as can't afford it, there are a lot of people that can afford it, they can't find it.
They can't.
So that doesn't make it wrong that they.
And they've been saving for
they
like
can afford it,
forever.
but they can't find it. And that's the
Right.
problem, they're not being built. So something like this also fills a market of people who have the money that want to spend it.
And that
can't
want
find
to,
it.
and that want to stay in our neighborhood.
Because their choice is 1.5 million for a 1-bedroom. So if there's, I know it's, again, sounds dystopian, but if it's 800 and they're making good money and now they can afford one, it fills a need.
Can I add to that? It's dystopian, but it's also reality for a lot of us. And to paint the picture fully, since we're all kind of sharing our little anecdotes, there is a reason why, even with a double income household, my partner and I have been living in a studio apartment for the past 8 years. And guess what? My ability to stay in this district every year is at jeopardy.
Yep.
Because I love this community we're from, I want to stay here, but every time the lease agreement comes around, there is this kind of trauma that comes in because we don't know if we're going to be squeezed out. That happened to my home, right? The digit change, because the landlords have the ability to do that. We're just kind of biting our teeth, hoping for the best. So Maria, what's the conversation?
Well, we're not at Old and New Business yet.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there's the reason the building on 53rd Street, our middle income, the housing built up 66,000 applications. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because these are not built that much.
You might see me out. Yes, we're up to number 3.
Yes.
Brad.
Hey, Brad, I think you got an education tonight.
He was here before.
Yeah, more than I may have wanted, but okay.
Oh, Brad, thank you for being patient and on the whole time.
Yes. So I'm here to talk about 432 West 58th Street. It is.
Brad, you have to introduce yourself for people who don't know you. I
Oh,
know you.
I'm sorry. I think I'm Brad Korn. I'm the Senior Director of Government and Community Affairs for the Mount Sinai Health System. Previous to our merger with Mount Sinai, however, I was also employed by Continuum Health Partners, which was St. Luke's and Roosevelt. So I've been doing this for come September 28 years. So I feel like I know a great deal of you over at the community board there, even though we haven't had to present in a while. So I thank you for letting me appear tonight. I know you were interested a little bit. So 432 West 58th Street was originally our property. It was like a research building and other clinical uses. We stopped using it. We sold it to an Italian private school who never actually developed the property. We bought it back. We started then to do some construction on it, but unfortunately, as with the economy and such, it kind of stopped. So I did send some pictures of what it looks like with the lift and the scaffolding. So the community had not been happy, obviously, about the look on the street. So we finally got approval to restart the project, and we are in the midst of getting our final permitting and getting all our our I's dotted and our T's crossed with the contractor, and we hope to start construction on the facade and the shell in July or August. And by the end of 2028, by 2028, I should say, we should be able to remove the lift and the facade and the scaffolding from the front. And then most of it will just be interior construction. And it's going to be, it's going to be, actually, maybe it may go as long as till the end of 2028 to finish that work. Then it's going to be most likely used for ambulatory care. But that final decision has not been made yet for everything that's going into the building.
Does anyone have any questions?
Um,
On committee? I'm
Yes.
still formulating mine.
So I'm sorry, Brad, it's, sorry if I maybe misunderstood this, but did you say that some people in the neighborhood have been complaining about the lift and the scaffolding?
Yes.
You're saying, don't worry, it'll be gone by the end of 3 years from now, is that right?
2 years. 2 years. Well, construction is construction. We can't, because of code, we have to have the lift there while the work's going on. We will do our best to get it done as quickly as possible. But I will tell you, having had meetings with the members of the community, they're happy that it's moving in a positive direction. They do understand that it will take some time.
Can you just remind us, is this all new construction that just stopped and now you're picking back up, or is this a building that existed?
It was an existing building. The facade was basically torn away, and now they're replacing that and fixing that. The interior will remain pretty closely the same. It's not really a shell. The floors itself are there. How they'll do the offices and stuff is not completely clear yet. This initial work will be to finish the front, get rid of the lift, and then everything will be interior construction.
Thanks for your presentation. As an aside, just want to note, since we're talking about a healthcare facility, happy nursing suite to the nurses. But coming back to this topic, in walking by the facility, there appears to be an open area, an open lot.
To the west.
West of the facility. Can you explain what the current usage of that is and what the planned usage of it may be?
No, I can't, because I'm not even sure we actually own that lot, to tell you the truth.
And second, with the newly.
I will check on that for you, though.
Thank you. Yeah, I walked around the other side of the street. I couldn't get a vision of it.
Right.
I didn't have access to drones, so. And the other question would be, will there be any environmental impact with the new construction going on, any kind of toxics or chemicals in the surrounding area? Because it's previously.
No, and whatever, obviously whatever permitting we have to do will be done. I don't believe there's anything in that building now. So I think we're probably fine, but obviously I will keep you guys updated to the project as we're moving forward. Whatever type of work or removal process we have to do would have to be permitted anyway, Kevin.
Thank you.
Other questions?
I do recall when the project came before the board many years ago, and there was some major renovations done to it. Why is the project gonna take that much longer? Basically, everything inside the building is already pretty much.
The building's gutted.
The building is gutted. The floors are, I'm pretty sure the floors are bare. I mean, I have not been inside there since done it.
They're bare.
The floors are bare, so the major construction now is redoing the facade so we can remove the scaffolding, as I said, and then the lift, because then we'll have the elevators inside to work with what's going on. Then, depending on, if you look at some of our facilities, like if you've ever been to our Union Square facility, you'll see that every office is a slightly different size. There's a certain unanimity to it, but then if it's a bigger practice, they use double offices. So that's what they're going to have to determine with the interior construction as we move forward.
When will you get a better handle on what the actual program will be for the building? You report back to us and have it.
Yeah, obviously, again, a year from now, healthcare is always in flux and what's going in there. But I'll between Kevin being on the community advisory board, but I'll also be happy to update you when I know better what programs are moving in there, obviously.
And one more question for Katie. Do you think by the end of the year you'll be able to do that update? That sounds reasonable.
By the end of the year, I should have a better timeline and I will have an idea of what they're planning to put in there. I would think yes.
It sounds like there has been a lot of sort of on and off of ownership and construction and running out of money and whatever. And I guess I'm just wondering, if there could be a commitment in some way that if there is a pause for any reason in construction or work on the facade.
Go ahead. Yes.
And nothing is happening over the course of, more than 2 months or something, that then the scaffolding and things would come down. It just.
You can't, I don't think I don't think it's okay. Two things. I'm not an engineer. I'm not trying to play one on TV. My understanding, having dealt with this, is because of the way the building is now, the lift has to remain. If the facade is not completed, you have to have the scaffolding up to protect people who are walking on the street. I don't think it could come down. I will say that this made it through our capital budget. It is budgeted, so I have very strong belief that this portion of that will be completed in the time frame we're discussing. I don't foresee it stopping. We understand two reasons. One is we want to move some stuff into there, and secondly, we do understand that the neighbors around there are not happy with it the way it is.
And so then could you make a commitment that if for some reason it's going to stop or there's a long pause of more than 2 months, that Mount Sinai would come back to our community board to inform us?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, and also understand that everything we have is permitted to a stalled project as well. There's different permits. Everything is permitted and up to date. But if for some reason there is a delay or a pause, I will clearly let you guys know.
Thank you. So I think maybe let's do an administrative letter.
Are there any questions? Any questions online?
Online?
No, okay.
I think we should do, on this one, I recommend an administrative letter just confirming this report and noting that they'll come back by the end of the year, for the end of the year, to say what's happening and what the plans are. Sounds like a lot of flux. I do believe that the hospital is interested in closing in the front of the building before the winter. Probably they have huge liabilities on this. So it's gonna be an incentive there to get that done.
So.
So,
Second.
administrative letter, thanks, great.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, guys, take care.
My friend. So now we're not quite done. Who did?
15 minutes.
We just said
An hour and a half. Yeah, we're just saying.
Administrative letter, we should just vote. All those in favor of the administrative letter, please raise your hand. Thank you, Pete, thank you. Just remember.
Oh.
Okay, we have, the digest, which has gone out twice because drafts are putting things together. There's one key important thing there, so we'll move quickly to the rest of the items. First, I want to note that 273 West 22nd Street, that's another UAP. And the first time, because the board was dealing with this for the first time, we went to Chelsea Land Use, but the UAP should come here too, because that's the same kind of question as the whole issue we do, the questionnaire and the checklist, everything. So they're going to come in June to that. And we definitely, in the meeting I was in, the briefing, we requested them they exceed the 65% of the floor distribution. And a lot of this time was spent instead, especially at Chelsea Land Use, right? About the entrances, the management, that kind of stuff. So they're gonna come back for the second bite of the apple, which is what the housing looks like. That'll happen in June. Our LA Chelsea meeting was postponed to May 11th. That's happening next week for the working group. And then we dealt with today, it is 515 West 43rd. But I think the one that's important to listen hear about is 425, 427 West 44th. We reported this out. The Sisters of Charity are moving all their properties to an has an development corporation or not-for-profit. They came here to the board of briefings about they're going to take this building. It's really a hotel, and they're going to redevelop it as supportive housing and partially rental. So there was a lot of pushback on that. But the big pushback was we said, it's not a hotel. There are long-term residents there, like 10, 15, 20 years. They've come to this committee in the past, lots of back and forth. And they came back for a second briefing to say that they've done more due diligence and they found out they're an SRO. Furthermore, they've been given leases a lot of these times. So the group was not as experienced. We said to them, we're willing to work with a for-profit or not-for-profit partner. And so the odd part is L&M actually has the 45th Street buildings right behind this 44th Street building. So maybe that's a good resource, right? Not for middle-income housing, but I'm saying for other use. It just struck us that they needed some partnering to make something happen. And they said they're very interested in, so they're going to meet with us again in May for briefing. 420 West 45th, we can talk about that today. And then 3 West 49th Street. Well, Ray, you want to sort of give your take on our meeting?
West 49th Street?
Yeah.
Most of the conversation was around social services,
That was the
so
one.
yeah, I think how blunt do I want to be?
You? This lady, this lady.
When I was younger, no. We're gonna help them with that. CB4 is gonna help them with that. Okay, can I say it that way?
Yeah, we sort of, as we engaged with the Kristen Danovich, who's come many times to this committee, it became extremely clear that they were not set up to deal with. There's going to be 50 homeless referrals coming to these buildings. That's not a small number of people. And it's clear they could handle part of this the first time. And it was further when they told us that they use a group called not-for-profit called Anthos. And all that group does is sort of, they get homeless individuals subsidy. And then they provide some light aftercare.
Yeah, and the contact is, I think, like once a month or something like that.
And it can be
doesn't
telehealth.
even have to be in person. So I think given the needs that are there, the tenants versus the services, it's not a good match. And I think that contributes to why we had why there were so many issues there. And it's unfortunate, not only for the tenants who are struggling or have the issues, right? But it's also the rest of the tenants. So.
And we also asked, we asked the owner, did they have a contract? He didn't know if they did.
Well, because they just pulled them on the internet.
Well, We don't know what it is. We also
Yeah,
asked
we
him,
also-
what is your regulatory process for protocol, for referrals and stuff? He was not aware of what it is. So I think we're now gonna try to turn to helping this owner figure out how to get reputable social service agencies to work with them.
I think that can make a huge difference here.
So with that being said, have there been any discussions of connecting them with H&H Bridge to Home? In connecting people who H&H is able to assess that they can live independently
Well, first,
and they're in the area?
I'm trying to figure out what is the actual referral protocol, right? It's gotta be something that's gotta be put together. Like, why are we not going to use all of our shelters that exist here? People who, families or individuals that are connected to various services, something.
But yes, to your
Because
question.
they did this to get the tax exemption, not to help homeless people.
I'm trying to be.
I know, but I'm okay speaking the truth,
Excuse me, Blunt.
being very blunt. It has become increasingly clear that they did this to get the tax exemption, not to house formerly homeless individuals. Since they did not plan for that in any way, shape, or form, they still have no plan for that. They know nothing about how that process works. I guess they just wait for someone to show up. And if they leave those units empty, they leave the.
No, it's not show up. They get referrals from HPD. I said, so what does that mean? How does that happen? And the answer was, couldn't tell you, have to look into that.
Aren't there regulations to follow to get those tax?
We don't.
They just have to commit to giving 50 rooms for 50.
So isn't really
Right.
the problem also there? Like if you get them.
This thing was done during the middle of COVID.
Yes.
We barely hit on it, right? It is not a regulatory agreement like anyone else others that I've ever seen. And yes, we do have to, as Katie said, hit on the HPD side, once we understand, because, and that's where we're going with this in general. We have to figure out a way to get parties in the room from HPD, HRA and say like, this has got to be done properly. And this is not like you just take people and replace them and then see if everything works out.
Because there are lots of programs that are actually very successful about moving.
Tons of services. It's not the
There's
issue.
no lack of services here.
They can use.
There are no lack of, very good, reputable,
That's what I think.
not-for-profit people, but
That's fine. And they find a way.
Right, but hold on a second, folks. By the way, you are channeling me and Maria. That's what we said. There's lots of reputable providers, people know what they're doing, but the issue is, you also have to pay for
That
service.
costs some money.
And I think this building is getting a tax exemption. They've got to fund some of these services. They have no requirement to fund services.
And there should be.
And
right, but that's not their issue. I mean,
Well, it's
they
theirs.
happen to benefit from the fact
They're
that.
doing it, if they're doing it legally, they're doing it legally, but the
Exactly.
change has got to come here.
But they could hire 2 case managers, and the case manager is responsible to connect people.
and beyond.
So it's still being
If they chose to.
if they chose to.
We have a vacant storefront. We could just put someone in a store. I said, well, that's, no, but I mean, in terms of providing a location on site. So that's a good idea, but you probably have to pay for the services, not just the storefront, but I mean,
Or,
with 50,
who knows?
with
I mean,
50
Give it
people,
to a
that's a lot.
nonprofit who does this
A
work and will.
nonprofit,
exactly.
in exchange for free rent.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
It's nice rent.
I mean, I just watched us, me and Maria, we sort of like immediately turned to say, we need to help you here because this is not,
Yeah.
like, you gotta clear your violations.
Does he want the help or is he?
He seems open to that.
Seems open, but like,
But we'll
proofs of the
see.
pudding.
He's not trying to do something.
Well,
All right, next.
Oh, no.
Sorry, no, and so,
I mean, that's how you get
Anyway.
the slumlord, right? You get the tax
Right,
credits and you don't get
I
the
guess
services.
my question
It's
was,
the definition.
I get that this is the update section, but is there anything we can do right
That's
now?
the definition. So you don't want it.
no, this is a work in double progress. So just moving on quick, another update, Hudson Hotel, some moving ahead here, we reported last time. Developer engaged, wanting to make changes,
Right.
HPD engaged, wanting to make changes on the cure agreement to accommodate the long-term tenants, that's the best of all, so the long-term people benefit from this.
Right.
There's still problems in the building, but they spent $100,000 for emergency elevator repairs and hot water, like,
Oh, tell us the.
yeah. Is everything all settled there? No, but keep on moving ahead.
They seem like they were on top of it.
They
wanted to be.
They wanted to. Next is 38th Street, Rita.
That was, but what's the name of it?
The Medical Center.
Did you all read this before right now? Or
No, I
Okay.
looked for it on,
So-
is this online? Because I've tried to
No,
find
it's in the
it.
Dropbox.
Yeah.
I didn't see it in the drop. Was
Also,
it?
My
follow-up email too, yeah.
Yesterday and today, no, this is the hardest one. We've never had so many meetings in a month.
It's a ketamine assisted facility. They own a couple of places. It's two they're sister-in-laws. They're both physicians. I think they were ER. I'm giving you too much backstory. The point is that they want to have a location on it's West 38th Street.
Yes.
And
8th and 9th.
they will be coming next month
Yes,
to give us a presentation.
or maybe July. It's not quite clear our agendas.
Oh, sorry. That was a little bit tricky.
I'm sorry, I'm not watching.
Sure.
So they'll be coming in June or July. It's an interesting project. I don't know of any others in this district that are like that. Maybe there are, but I'm not aware of any, so it'll be interesting, and I hope y'all have lots of questions.
Because research.
It's ketamine medical.
Ketamine medical, and it's about the treating PTSD.
Yeah.
And
And like difficult to treat depression. If you guys are not on the street level.
So we talked about Mount Sinai West, and our last item is the one we want to spend a moment on because this was quite a shocking thing to happen.
What?
This is Urban Pathways Drop-in Center at 7719 Avenue.
Oh.
So, folks, everybody, so there was everyone knows there was a stabbing out front, somebody was killed, whole thing, right?
Yeah.
But what you do not know is that Kevin, Maria, and Katie were that evening in a community advisory board. And there was a normal thing, community advisory board just talking, and Lisa Lombardi, who everyone's met her Urban Pathway, began to make a report, right?
Yeah, at the very beginning of the meeting, she was reporting what happened, and essentially before she could really finish. Maybe a minute or two in, DHS stopped her from speaking.
Sure.
And said we need to consult with our legal department.
Well, you have to say why. So
Yeah.
Lisa was beginning to say that the suspect in the stabbing was one of their clients.
So she
said that.
And I think
And then that's when DSS was like, quiet, don't say anything more. But at that point, she hadn't acknowledged, I think she only said there was an altercation. She didn't note that anyone died. Officer Belliantoni, no, she did not.
Oh, I don't know.
Officer Belliantoni, from
Precinct.
the Midtown North Precinct, then said he could, say what happened, because he's NYPD, he's not DSS. And he was the one who said there was an altercation. One man was stabbed, went to the hospital, another man was stabbed and died.
And just to know, he said, no one's gonna shut me down.
Yeah, he said something like that, and
I don't think
Except
it
to
came
Bill
off
Antonio.
that snippy. I think he kind of said that he was able, like, he could say it, because he's NYPD.
my perception, it was a little bit curt, but that's neither here nor there. I think what's important here is that DSS shut her down from what she was saying in sharing some information that was public. And essentially, I spoke up and mentioned that, look, if something is under investigation, you can say that, but I think for people who live in the community and who are concerned, I think some basic information is necessary here, right? And then while I was saying that, Katie Savage put in an article from West 42nd Street Magazine into the chat with public information about the incident, right? So.
Well, not only that, it's by way of background, because I belong to a different community meetings every 2 weeks. I was gonna be at 12 noon that day. I walked down to Urban Pathways and spoke to the NYPD outside, they let me in. So I spoke to people on the phone around 11:30, 11:45. They wouldn't give a lot of information, but I said, okay, I'm gonna be on a CAB meeting at 6 o'clock, so I presume you're gonna update the CAB members. So they had 6 hours notice to get in alignment about what they were gonna convey. But there seemed to be no coordination from the left hand and right hand. and then a preclusion of sharing certain information.
I think,
Yeah, because Lisa Lombardi did say during the meeting, you know, I wish I had known that. She said that out loud to DSS, like you didn't communicate anything to me that I couldn't share.
I mean, Lisa Lombardi from American Pathways is a veteran of social services on the west side.
And she
You
seems
know
very
her, she's solid, she's direct, point, right? I think we're seeing, I'm sorry.
No, so what's?
Right, so I think what we're seeing here is there's an evolution of these cabs that were community advisory boards, people in the community. It's about getting information, talking. It's establishing a relationship with the social service provider. That's the whole point of it. So everyone knows what's going on, and all the mystery is gone from this. In the last 6 or 7 months, cabs have now begun to be run by DSS or DHS. And they're saying what can be said or how it can be said. There was a moment with the cab for Bridge to Home where having a discussion, it's like, well, we can't talk about that. I'm like, what are you talking about? We can ask anything because that's what we're here for as community members, to engage, to understand what's happening, if there's problems or not. And this is, Jesse and I spoke about this at length, Maria too. It's a whole change that now somehow DHS believes the cabs are about keeping a lid on information and not answering questions and not being.
And I just want to be clear, so this CAB, Urban Pathways, it is led by someone who works for Urban Pathways. However, the very first CAB I had with them and another nonprofit in the community, I can't remember which one right now, but both were led by DHS. Both CAB meetings, and they gave a presentation on like what a cab is. It was unusual because I've been on cabs before and it's never been that way. And so it does, I do get the sense, and there is this vibe, I don't know if you both get it, but like in these cab meetings with DSS, there's this sense that like there's certain things that can't be said.
Well, that's how they act on community board meetings too.
Right, it was interesting.
And it's not like private, personal.
It's not, like how you don't want to
about
give the address of the facility, but you can find it on Google. But DSS will not tell you the address of a facility and say it's private, but you can literally find it on Google.
I mean, when the shelter was open on 52nd Street, 427, right? Then Marie was on the cab.
52nd.
Yeah,
The women's
shelter. There were lots of issues. And we used the cab to work through that. The ambulances, the outdoor space. And that's the whole point of it, is that the community establishes a relationship with the provider and seeks to solve problems and deal with issues.
And Leilani from DHS at that time, she's not with DHS anymore, but she was very practical, very good rapport with CB4, understood things. You know, it's not that way now.
So here's our thought.
It's like a checklist. I mean, I was on the COVID cab. And what was fascinating to me is the testing part of it, which was really run by H&H and Long. It was like so much back and forth across the community, and it was so beneficial. And he was amazing, because if you brought up an issue, he would tell you then where we solved it or this is what I'm doing about it. But when it got to vaccines, it was Department of Health. And there was never a decision maker in the room, nothing got done. I mean, endless.
And just really quick.
And it felt like a checklist, like, okay, we have this community advisory board, so we're getting input from the community, check.
So just really quick, an update, and I apologize to you both, I still forgot to forward you the email, but I had emailed Lisa Lombardi and I asked a couple of follow-up questions. And I think the most important one, she couldn't really respond to, and she said that they're working on, which is one, like, do you have a metal detector inside to keep your staff safe? Because, well, she'll give the reason why. Yeah.
So, more information came out as reported by West 42nd Street. The DA's office has video from the deli next door. The victim was identified as 34-year-old Renee Flores, a delivery worker who lives 2 blocks north on 9th Avenue. The altercation happened because Renee was locking his bike over the suspect's bike, and the suspect got upset, came after him with a knife, stabbed both him and his friend, and then was seen on video going back into the drop-in center with the knife to retrieve his cell phone before coming outside, getting on his bicycle and leaving. He was picked up a week later after he checked into a shelter in the Bronx.
And so the reason I asked Lisa Lombardi that question, I didn't even know that information. I just know if he had the mic on him, he's walking around with it. He had already walked in, right? And so, like, how are you gonna keep your staff safe? Are you guys getting infected? Are you going to increase the frequency, which I requested last meeting, this meeting again?
Of the rounds on the block.
Yeah, increasing the frequency of the rounds on the block. And for those questions, which I think are most critical here, she said we're in discussions, but we're discussing everything. So there's no final answer. My assumption is that conversation includes DHS. I said, do you need CB4 support with something here? And I don't know. Yeah.
So here's the corollary to this. That's something that it's like a weird policy shift or something. It's not really community advisory boards. It's that here's our presentation for the month. I don't want the presentation. I want to get basic information, but I want to engage, right? In a similar way, now we have this issue that's cropped up with homeless placements into various mixed income buildings without any proper social service support. So we have 49th Street as one, right? We have the Gotham building on West 41st Street where they have 20 placements, one-time placements, and a whole series of assaults, fires, and the autistic adults walking around naked stuff in the hallways. It's just driving the women crazy.
The Mayberry?
Yes. Yes. And everyone's trying to support and they got no social service support at all. It was like, do this as part of some tax exemption. And then we have the Times Square Hotel, right? And Times Square is, a real serious issue. It's the center of narcotics activity and assaults in Midtown South.
It is a horrendous inside that building.
Yeah.
What people have to endure and live with. I haven't forwarded an email, but there's videos, there's pictures.
The videos are horrific.
It is unbelievable, and it's a shame that we have city council people who have been involved and it hasn't been resolved in any way whatsoever.
Addressed. But then let's fast forward and this afternoon I learned that presentation was made by the Rialto. That's the new building on West 48th, 49th Street, one of the Mr. Rayard's commitments, right? The affordable housing. And there will be 30 homeless placements there. And the group they were discussing hiring to support the homeless placements is Breaking Ground that runs the Times Square.
Who was also recently removed from managing the Dorothy Ross Friedman building for mismanagement.
On the social service side. So I'm just concerned here that we know that our mixed buildings have run well because there's been great social services supported back and forth. But if there's this paradigm shift, and I think it goes back to the agencies, that there's a mismatch of referrals for the type of building. You cannot have somebody who is untreated, mentally ill, and or chemically or addicted without proper support, and you certainly can't just dump them and say, here's what it is, and go away. So we have to figure out, so the two things tie together, the cab shift, right? And then this issue. So we would like to call for a meeting with the new HRA commissioner, social service commissioner, say, come to our board, that we are always at the forefront, right? Here again, like we've done all these mixed buildings. This has to work. Otherwise, this will turn, and the Gotham building is both the market rate and affordable tenants that are completely up in arms about the effect on their lives from small forward or homeless tenants that don't have proper support services. Yes.
So I'm a little unclear. So it sounds like, Katie, you were saying, or Maria, I guess you just mentioned how horrible the time Square
Oh, it's bad.
or something. And it sounds like it's a specific provider
They own it.
that owns it, and they're clearly not.
You should see how much they're making.
Yeah. But to your, and then you said that it's terrible that our electeds have been involved and nothing seems to be changing. So it seems like that's an example. And then like, I think we should also be focused on, I think we have a real concern about where a specific provider, these buildings that all have the same provider. And it seems like we should be focused on that too. So
It's multi-pronged, it really is.
It's not one solution, right?
Right, except I guess the one thing you can all understand that I'm alert to, and I just want us to be careful about, is that what we want to be addressing is not that like, this is a bad model. Like, there shouldn't be, you know,
It's
formally
not
on the
good.
people, right? Exactly, that it's about, yeah, that there's bad management in some of these situations.
Both by
How
the
do we-
agencies.
That's what I, the agencies.
But it's,
Agencies
but
first.
it's, but it's the
Hey,
agency,
that's-
like it is.
Let her finish, please.
Yeah, so I want us to be clear about what we're focusing on.
Which is you perceive as what?
Well, it sounds like what we're saying is that it's not the idea or the program of moving formerly homeless people into housing. It's moving formerly homeless people into housing with supports that turns out the supports aren't there.
Okay, so my perspective on it, I want to be clear to all of you. There is a model, the housing first model, right? And I think that's what you're talking about.
I don't know, I mean,
Where-
I think that.
Well,
Go ahead, what
well,
were you
if that is what you're talking about, I do have some issue with it now that I understand it more deeply. And what I'm seeing, and I am sure it is not only happening in this district, I am sure it is happening all over the city, where what is happening is there is a mismatch between need and service. And if you have senior parents who are high need and need nursing 24/7, do you send them to a facility where it's independent living for seniors? No, you need to match the need, right? You need to match the need and the service, right? And so when people have, and I am very passionate when it comes to issues, obviously, given my career choice and that I grew up in this neighborhood, and I am sitting here because of services in this community, social services in this community, right? When it comes to people with mental health issues, they are deserving of having good care. But so are the people who live in the building, right? Because it impacts their emotional and mental health and well-being. And I am extremely frustrated, and I believe we need to do something. We cannot just sit by, just hear complaints continue.
I want to say, Katie,
something and be solution
I
focused.
100% support integration of homeless individuals into regular housing. But I don't support integration of high need people into regular housing and just letting them flounder, right? Number one, right, but number two is there are certain high need individuals that cannot, they need to be in a much more, like it's the level 1 or level 2, they need to be heavy support. And the fact that HPD or HRA thinks you can take an individual and empty a shelter bed and they create a whole new problem for that. The man who's walking around naked should not be in that building. He needs to be in a much more supervised setting, and that's an adult with an elderly mother. That person should not have been placed in the building like this. They should be where there's constantly, there's nursing care, there's different levels of services.
Right, not uptown.
What?
This community you're talking about.
This community, no, that happened here, it's happening on 41st Street. I mean, this is crazy. How are we're gonna get a broad population to turn against social services when we manage it like this? And I think you're right, Charles, it's the agency who is creating this problem. Because
They're not even talking to each other, because all these agencies that should be talking with this agency to, you know, it's an easy way to connect, but I think that at some point, to your point about who do we get into the room to have the conversation?
Right.
But also, people who really want to get it done. I don't want to come to a meeting just to.
Yeah, I don't want the first deputy's policy advisor.
Right,
wants to
it's
move.
not maybe a vision or doesn't know anything.
Because I want to say.
Should we start in the mayor's office?
Yeah, we definitely do. But I want to say housing first is a good concept, but it's got to be specialized housing. Because those individuals need all kinds of care to settle, right? You don't take people who need that deep need and just say, oh, put them in housing and everything else will get settled out. That's not happening. You know, I mean, we're talking in a building that it's not serving people, it's not serving the neighbors.
Just really quick question, does anyone online want to share anything, because I see we monopolize the conversation. No, okay.
What, any thoughts, anybody, Paul, or Roberta, or Travis? Okay, yes.
Thank you for
Anyways.
delivering the rest of the story, by the way, but it's a grim story about the stabbing. Thank you, all.
So we thought that out of this committee, right, we would produce a letter saying, we have these issues. We need you, the new folks, new administration, come and meet with us because things happen here first and we're here.
So is that an administrative?
No, I think this is a letter.
Okay, great. And if so, can we also outline some of what we know to be the pain points?
I apologize, it's administrative because you want to get somebody here for June. It has to be.
So it's an invitation
If
for
it's
them to
right,
come speak.
right.
Yeah, it's not a letter out of, because we haven't heard it.
Yeah. Do we feel optimistic that we will be responded to?
We gotta start somewhere.
I guess what I'm trying to say is it worth, I guess what I'm trying to propose is it worth writing a non-administrative substantive letter kind of outlining all of what we just discussed?
But that would take, it won't be passed until June, so we would get somebody here to the committee.
Oh, yeah.
We have from a high level, get them in here, and then.
Well, you sort of
Put too much in the letter.
You don't want to have too much detail, you want to have like, here are examples of things.
Alright.
We have to act very quickly because the summer, spring is here and the summer's coming, and that's when things get really hot. So we forgot that. That's very important.
Okay.
We need to act.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, online,
Online? Yes.
administrative letter inviting the mayor's housing.
So we're just voting on and asking somebody to come speak to us?
Yeah, well, we're saying there's a number of problems. In general, here are some kinds of issues, not super detailed. We want to meet with you because we need to address these issues.
How to address these issues, yeah.
Yeah, we need to be solution focused. This is not about like.
It was
blame or
solution
anything.
focused,
How do
exactly.
we resolve this? And there is a way, right? It just would take time.
Of the meeting, it's not all people who are moving out of.
That's right. No, it's not.
There's, again, the need and the service, right? There's a
Is it just housing or is it health and human services? Mayor's office.
Oh, no. I think it's really, we're addressing this really to the mayor's office, Nancy Ray, Commissioner, your representative from the deputy mayor. That's
Deputy Mayor of Housing or Health and Human Services?
Health and Human Services. Because that's what the problem.
Yeah.
Take a look.
Thank you, everybody, for.
Oh, wait. Just one more thing for old and new business, thinking about the deeper affordability thing, because Katie mentioned it, Hector mentioned, gave me a long text message he wanted me to read, but we had already done that the first item. And then thinking about like, even myself and not being able to, I'm not even at 80% AMI with my daytime job and thinking about my colleagues who work at like Lion Health. So just curious about like, what can we do? Joe, you're the housing person here.
I think we take this up and have a kind of discussion we had today about it, do it our meeting. You have to start somewhere, you gotta start talking about it first. That means, that phrase, deep affordability means 17 things. So you have to have a discussion about what it means us here.
I think it means lower AMS.
I think so.
Okay, I don't know how. Yeah.
If we could do something like that in the beginning of the meeting, because then
So we're not
the
exhausted?
at the end, yeah.
Absolutely.
That's a good idea. As an agenda.
Katie.
Yeah.
Is this the right time to add a new?
Yes,
I don't even know. So last night at the meeting, there was somebody in public session who was, and I frankly, I didn't remember to write down the exact issue.
I get you. The service animal person.
No.
It's.
No, that's not, we're not.
This is different. This is, and maybe. Do you
Gotham West.
Yeah.
So.
So it sounded like something that we should.
Yes, so there is a whole pack of information. Guys, everybody, hold on a second. Pete, Brian.
About yesterday.
Pete, Brian, everybody. So anyway,
About yesterday.
we testified yesterday at our public session, a lot of information. We did a lot of due diligence. A lot of it's not quite accurate. There's like, the due diligence we talked about today, there's multiple flavors of affordability. We asked them to send that electronically so we could sit down, go through it, and actually meet with them and try to shred through it, right? Because we supported this project with a lot of nuance, here. And I think what's happened is there may be misclassification of different units as to what they are. In that building, there are 650 permanently affordable units. And then there are X number of also permanently affordable units or inclusionary housing. And then there's a small cohort of time limited units, like 40 years. Don't know where this fellow lives, but clearly with working with Gotham before, we've had these issues where they made mistakes. And we basically looked at it and then responded saying, we support you and please fix this. For example, the building Maria lives in, somebody new came on and decided that the outdoor terrace could no longer be used by anybody who is not a member of the gym or something. And we stopped them and said, hello, we wrote you this letter so many years ago, and here's what it is. And they went, oh, we made a mistake. So let's try to take that first. Similar, we got an approach from
And I have a subset.
Clinton Commons co-op on West 52nd Street between the 10th and 11th. And they're having a problem with Taconic investments on repairing some stuff and damage in their yard many years ago. And we said, let's first try to, and we met with Taconic and we're trying to figure out something to try to avoid committee. But yes, it's got to be addressed because someone took a lot of time to do it. So that's the way to go.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I did actually want to talk about the service animal person. Please bear with me. I know it's not a housing thing, but it is a health and human services matter. So the person the individual experiencing this actually brought material. I don't know if it went around the table. It was about the American the Disabilities Act, ADA, correct. So the experiences he's been having is that there's not enough, or the pain point here is there's not enough awareness about what is allowed, what is not allowed. So he has some negative interactions with certain establishments, right? So I actually asked him because his time got cut short. I don't know if you remember, his 2-minute got cut short. So he said it would be great if there is some help raising awareness, whether it's with the community or even to the lawmakers. Is there a way we can help them as the Aging Request Committee?
Refer him to Tony Simon. Tony has a dog. Tony's written legislation about dogs.
Okay.
I think this makes sense for Tony to.
But it would be a good ally.
Linda Rosenthal is deeply involved in pets and all kinds of animal stuff.
Related to animals.
Okay, so these are helpful. And is there anything we could potentially help this person with, like, or?
I think it's
it's
a really difficult issue because unfortunately there are a lot of people
who take advantage of it.
Yeah, they do not have legitimate service dogs, and that makes it very difficult for people who have legitimate service dogs.
And you're not required to carry ID with them anymore, so.
they can't.
Yeah, I didn't know until yesterday what the intricacies are, like what you're allowed to ask or not, what the dog is physically able to do or not, you know? But yeah, so I will connect him with those, or suggest that he reach out to
Because I think those people are really involved in a lot of animal rights.
yeah, because the small dog is doing a lot for him. He has PTSD and he does physical things, but he cannot be off the lap. The dog performs the act on his lap, which a lot of establishments don't allow him to do. So this poor baby's like, reminding him and like doing all the things he is doing as a service animal, but it's not quite understood by the others, right? So anyways, I just thought of you guys.
Well, depending on his insurance, we're gonna have a ketamine assisted place unless you. That helps.
Is there, after this lengthy, serious,
It's annoying that
they don't take medication.
is there after this very deep, serious conversation we had tonight, is there any possibility of entertaining a motion to adjourn? All those in favor, please say aye.
I have one thing. Maybe you can help me. We deal with, you guys have really great institutional knowledge and know about all this, the laws, but
Yeah.
like, when you start using UAP and some of these new things,
We need to.
can we get a link?
Right, so here's what Leslie has
I
proposed.
need help.
Leslie said, in addition to doing the zoning 101 training, she'd like to do a whole housing training. And we're trying to put that together sometime either the summer or the fall.
Because
Even an acronym list.
Yeah,
But-
can we have an
yeah, but-
alphabet soup?
But also maybe just a link that connects, if like, when it's in the letter to us, they can click a link. And it goes to somewhere in a
Just so
Google
you
that
know,
says, here's the points of UAP, so
Right,
we
the
come in
problem is
knowledgeable.
that those things really take you to like a lot of.
If you that, or you
Really,
try.
Nobody in the office would work on that, just like a 10-point
No,
bullet.
I think we need to develop some curriculum for.
Lawyers complicate things, I'm sorry.
You can stop recording, Nelly. Meeting adjourned.
Do we vote on it? Yay.
We already voted.
Thank you.
Thank you,
It is very serious to do this.
Benito.